Well, join me at Sandhurst Lake again, and it's absolutely pouring down. Just that set up in all the mud and everything. Look at that, look, all the mud set up out there. It's proper pouring. So I'm going to make this a short one and then do a bit of a longer one if it stops raining a bit later on. But down for a couple of days. I had to think on the way down that that middle area just isn't producing. So I've gone in a good winter swim that I call a good winter swim called the car park. If you remember the first vlog I'd done on Sandhurst, I was in the car park, but I was finding leaves on the bottom. Well, I've just cast out again, same amount of wraps, same area, and I'm not getting any leaves or anything. So to me that means they've been feeding out there. And speaking to one of the bailiffs, there's been a couple of fish out, well, quite a few fish out of here in the last week, 10 days. So fingers crossed after last week's blank and a change of swims from that middle area, plus it was getting a bit boring sitting in that middle, that number 11 swim. The two trips, it does get a bit boring fishing the same swim. So we're going to give this one a go, and I'll get back to you soon because the lens is getting steamed up and water on it and everything. Let's see what happens. Wind pushing in. It's relatively mild at 8 degrees. It was frost last night, and I've had snow at my house. But I'll get back to you soon anyway once this weather's cleared up a bit. It's a quiet night, very quiet night. Didn't hear nothing going on, no liners, and I don't think anyone else has had anything either. At least it's not cold though. It was about 8 degrees last night, but the water temperature's still cold after those cold couple of days before this. I just took the water temperature, it's 5.3. When I got here, I think it was 4.8, so it's gone up a little bit, but you know, anything around a 5 or under 5, you're struggling. You know, that's bordering on blanking. Right, let me explain what I'm doing in this swim. I've got all 3 rods on the same spot. And I don't know if you've seen some of these other vlogs I've done, but I've been fishing 2 white pop-ups on Johnny Mac rigs and a bottom bait rig. So I've still got the bottom bait rig on, which has done me just as many bites as the pop-up, but I've changed over my pop-up rigs from the Johnny Mac rig to my little combi rigs that I use with a little 10mm pop-up on the top and the plastic maggots. And I found that they do really well in the winter, that little rig, trying to use a little 10mm pop-up. The problem with something like the 360 or the Ronnie rig is that you need a bigger pop-up because you've got so much metal there. You need a bigger pop-up to keep it up, but I want to go as small as possible. So hopefully soon I'm going to do an instructional video on how to tie this combi rig. It's not complicated, but it's not easy to tie, and I need time to do it back at home. But you know, look out for that anyway. Also, I've put no boilie out there this time. I've spotted a bed of chili hemp and one of them little cans of sweet corn. It's got the salt and the sweetness, sugar added, from Tesco's. Tiny little one, just enough colour in there. And I brought some maggots with me as well, about 4 pints, not like half a gallon, 4 pints. I don't buy into this thing of like put out 3 or 4 gallons and fish over the top of it. I've never done well doing that. I've always kept it to a minimum. But what I will say is I spoke to a lot of my friends who use maggots spring, winter, all year round really, and they really have honed how they use them, how they prepare them. And a lovely little edge is what they do, what they've told me, and it's really made a difference to my captures in the winter, is you get your maggots and you sieve them twice a day. You know, get yourself a big bucket, sieve them twice a day, and add this little ingredient called turmeric. It's used in the like the Indian takeaway. You might have noticed it. It's very, very spicy. It's a yellowy bronze colour. And just put a handful of that over the top. Use some gloves, like the blue gloves, you know, the car mechanics use, because it gets everywhere. You know, it will stain everything. Even when you're spotting with it, wear the glove when you're putting it in. Otherwise, I made the mistake. Well, the first time I done it, I was like, I've been to the tan shop. It was everywhere. You know, I've still got some on my top now. Look, from when I was spotting yesterday, but not on my hands. And that's the main thing. So nice little wedge, look into that, because it really does make your maggots stand out from the crowd. The reason being, a lot of people's maggots, when they have them in a small tub, a small bucket, is they sweat and they get ammonia on them, and a fish can detect that and they really don't like it. This little wedge, using the turmeric and sieving them twice a day, riddling them, really makes a difference. So give that a go and you will see the difference when you're on the fish and they're feeding. So that's what I've done. I put a bed of those out, you know, not a lot, because I know the guy that was in here before didn't have nothing, the guy before him didn't have nothing, but I don't think they're fishing the same area as me. And with the water temperature being so cold, I didn't want to put loads of like boilie out and chop boilie and all that. I thought I'd play it a little bit safe. So quiet night last night, but we've got one more night left. I'm not going to put any more bait out unless I see something or catch one. And I'm going to recast the rods a little bit later, just before dark. I'm going to let them out there all day today and see what happens. And hopefully we'll have one to show you, or we'll learn something more. As long as we learn something every time we're down, or take something away that we can bring on to our next session, that's what the man of the game is. Even if we blank, if we're learning from a blank, then, you know, we're improving. We're that one step closer to getting a bite. So let's see what happens, and hopefully I'll get back to you soon. Well, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've just been woken up by a bite on my right hand rod. Just go and have a quick look, show you what's occurring in the dark. Well, that was a surprise, wasn't it? Look at that. Look at that. Nice one. Not sure how big it is yet, but there we go. Let's get her weighed up, have a few snaps of her, a bit of video, and stick her back. Result. Well, there we go. 29.2 mirror. Would you believe it? 3 o'clock in the morning, it is absolutely freezing. My hands are falling off. Look at that, 29.2 on them little white pop-ups and little combi rig with a pink maggot cluster on top. How about that, eh? Oh, proper. How about that then? 29.2 mirror. Beautiful looking fish, freezing cold. I think fingers were going to fall off there, but very welcome to 3 o'clock in the morning, I can tell you. It's I thought he was going to be right up against it, and it was going to be another blank. Took the second blank on the trot sort of thing. But coming in here has definitely proved what I should have done last week, really. With the changing weather conditions, getting even colder, nothing happening out in water. Have a look here, look, there's absolute carnage everywhere, look. Absolute carnage, there's gear everywhere. And you want to see out in the swim as well, absolute carnage, look. But we don't care, do we? Because we've had one, yes. But an interesting thing, I'm not going to stick out the rod back on the spot out there, because I had 3 rods fishing all on the same spot. I'm going to leave them 2 out there, and the reason I do that, a little trick I learned many years ago when I fished Halton, was that if you put a rod back on, there's a good chance you weren't going to get another bite on that spot that night, you know. So, because it could be, the way they shoal up in here, it could be that there's more fish there and I might get another bite. So I'm not going to disturb the water out there, I'm going to leave that till tomorrow, because I've had one. So it's that's a nice little trick to try. If you've got 3 rods, you're fishing them all on the same spot. It can only be within 10-15 feet, all 3 rods. So I've got 2 rods still on the same spot over the baited area, and I've found that sometimes you'll get another bite when you least expected it, and you won't get a bite most of the time when you recast that rod out, disturb everything out there if it's feeding. So fingers crossed anyway. But I'm going to sign off now until the morning, and we'll have a little look at what's happening and see what the coup is. But yeah, right result, 29.2 mirror, beautiful, 3 o'clock in the morning, winter's night, freezing cold, made up, result, another Sandhurst cracker. Well, that was a crazy night, wasn't it? £29 2 ounce, 3 o'clock in the morning. And this morning I wake up and I get this, look at that, frozen solid. Would you believe it? Madness. Frozen solid. Look at that. Frozen, absolute solid frozen. So, pack up anyway. Off to home, off to work. Look at all the kit, look, it's all ready. All packed away. Just got to pull the van up. Load it all up. And I'm still in shock that I caught one. It must have just been the ice forming just as I got that bite. Good job I didn't recast. I would have landed on the old ice. So what can I learn from this trip? Well, it's never too cold to get a bite, is it? It does only take one bite. Got me positioning right for a change, rather out in the middle, down the deeper areas. Nice, about 8 foot silt gully, little hole where I was fishing. Had all 3 rods on it. Put the maggots out there and the hemp and maize. But it's yeah, I'm still in shock now that it's frozen. Just managed to get my rods in this morning, get them out before it froze even more. It looks like it's going to get worse with -3 tonight. So until next time, don't forget, please subscribe down below there. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to get loads more videos just like this, and loads of how to tie rigs and instructional videos. And really thanks for all your comments on the Facebook and my YouTube channel. Really appreciate it, guys, and glad that you're enjoying the videos. From the feedback I'm getting, it's brilliant. So long may it continue, and see you next time.